Hi, welcome to the 30-day blogging challenge ad hoc hangout. Today I'm with two great people, two people that I consider very good friends, and we're going to be talking about video for your blogs. So I'm going to ask them to introduce yourself, and I believe Jay's requested ladies first, so over to you, Vanita.
Well, good morning, all. I hope you can hear me well, first of all. I'm Vanita Dad Anthony, and I'm the founder of the Real Women in Business Society, which has just gone live last week. The reason why we all started this, of course, is because of that post, and people had questions about videoing. Let me give a little bit of a background story. I am somebody who is very camera shy normally. And what I had done, I noticed that it would be good for me to actually use video for my business. And I got myself a coach, and she showed me the ins and outs, the options, and what I do, what I normally do with those kind of things. I try things out. And that's why I ended up with a studio downstairs in my garage. Long story short, lots of trial and error, and today we're actually rolling videos, courses, all kinds. So over to you, Jay.
Good morning, everybody. Great to be able to be a part of this, and so may I thank you for the fabulous 30-day challenge. It's always great to be challenged and find a new way of communicating, and particularly where I am at the moment. For those of you that are part of the challenge, you'll know that I'm in a bit of an exciting transitional phase, but I'm really enjoying the process of getting my thoughts out there and helping people to understand where I'm at and what I'm doing. And video has been a part of my life now for very many years. I've probably over 10 years now have been active in the world of video. Started out in social video, and then moved into helping organizations and corporates utilize video as part of their means of communicating their message. So I'm kind of here with bringing that background to it, some kind of tips and ideas as to how to make the most of it, and see if I can help you have some fun with video, and some ideas as to perhaps ways of just giving it that slight professional edge that'll just help you to stand out.
Brilliant. Okay, so we were doing this call for Emmy, who's got unexpected guests, so she's not viewing live. So her first question is, how can you do video if you've not got a smartphone? Hello?
I love the way
Yes.
we're allowing each other to go first, and that I'm going to fight my inner gentleman that was going to allow Vanita to kick off there. The simple answer is that it is becoming easier and easier these days to utilize all sorts of things. So most of us, as you say, are carrying around a phone that will enable us to capture material. I think the only thing that I would say in terms of where do you start with video, clearly you can go from something that's very cost effective right up to something that's thousands and thousands of pounds. For me, the key aspect is being able to plug in external audio. So the ability to actually capture sound in a high quality way. Often the issue with that is that there's a big gap between where your mouth is and where you are actually capturing the picture. So even in the circumstances we are now, you'll notice that Sarah's wearing a headpiece. The headpiece has got a microphone nice and close to her mouth, which is why we're hearing her very clearly. The reason you're hearing me clearly is because I'm using my iPad, and likewise, we're nice and close to one another. So for me, I would make sure that whatever camera you get, if at all possible, it's got a slot to put in an external microphone. That will make a big difference. What do you use?
Yeah, absolutely. I use many things. Of course, for the webinars, which I'm running at the moment, I use just the computer. What I find is that, and that's more a practical thing, especially when you feel a bit uncertain, sit in an environment where you feel comfortable when you're starting out. So like here, this is my little work office and my domain. I use my iPhone headset I have also got a little lapel microphone, which is not very expensive, but I completely agree with Jay that pretty much every camera you use sh almost should be used in combination with another microphone, just to give that extra quality to the sound. The other setup I have is downstairs, and that's with this camera, which I will share a bit more later about. But again, I'm using another microphone to capture sound.
Okay then, so you can use an external camera and you can pick them up from all kinds of places like eBay, various stores. You may be able to pick it up with your Tesco Club card points or Boots card points if you've got those sort of things. You don't actually have to spend a lot of money to get a relatively decent camera. And a good point was made that actually a lot of computers have cameras built in and you can use them as a webcam like we are here, all three of us. So even if you don't want to go out and buy video equipment, you can still use the webcam. Now, the thing with the webcam is obviously you're going to be limited to where you can take the computer and pick it up and move it around and show people things. And I've known people to walk their computers through their house to show their mum things and their friends in other countries. And this is a kitchen and this is a such and such with their webcam, and it works for them. So you've just got to sit down and think to yourself, what will work for you? Are you going to have to get an external camera? Are you going to be able to utilise what you've got existing? And if you're going to go out and get equipment, don't rush out and buy the most expensive things available, because you may not use it, says she with expensive kit all around her office that's never been out of the box. So,
totally agree.
you know,
I think there are certain things that are worth spending a little bit of money on, and certain things that are worth having as part of your kit. But it doesn't have to be expensive. Being able to get something that really works for you is what's key.
Yeah,
The
microphone. Yeah, go on.
Sorry.
No, sorry.
Another thing what you could do to start off with is, if you're not certain, like I was, look around in your personal network. Does anybody has a camera that you can borrow? Especially when you want to work with a normal handheld, try it out first, because it is quite expensive to invest in properly. But once you have that certainty and that little bit of practice, you know what to look out for as well, for what is suitable in your situation. We can all share here what we have done, but every situation is different. I'm here in quite a bright office, so I have enough light. I can just put my light on. When I'm downstairs, I have big camera lights. So ask around in your network and see what people have that you can have a try with.
That's a good thing, asking around in your network. Right, so my next question is, we've covered audio and where we can get equipment. What sort of things can we video to practice? What sort of things can we do that will show us how to use the equipment and not tax us too much?
Yeah, I would go one step before that. You mentioned about utilizing your own laptop and being able to use that as a way of communicating. We're quite used to seeing people in Skype conversations and in Google Hangouts and all of that kind of thing. So we're quite used to people looking at their laptop screen when they're doing a video. One thing you will remember from when we were setting this up this morning, Sarah, is that I needed to lift you up. So one of the key pieces of advice I would always give is that if you're producing video that isn't a Hangout or isn't going to be seen as something that is, so if you're wanting video to work as video, always make sure you're not looking down at the camera.
Oh yes, the up the nose shots are awful.
So lift the camera up, because subconsciously, if the person we're watching is looking down on us, they're looking down on us. So always lifting the camera right up so that you're having to look up at the camera Veronique is brilliant at that already. One of the first things I noticed as soon as I saw her online, and that's great. And it just means that actually it puts the viewer in that position of power, and they don't know why. They don't know why they feel. They don't know why they want to engage with you, but actually there is something about that tiny little nuance that just will help ensure that you are where you want to be and that they're ready and willing to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. What I would say in terms of material to practice with, you have no idea. My videoing journey started during spring. How many videos I went through to get results that I was willing to show in public. And what I did, first I started with sharing stuff I was comfortable with and what was in my line of work. And what helped me, I film with my husband. And having that face that you know, that gives you trust. So if you feel like you don't want to be alone and have the feeling that you're just talking to the camera, have a friend there. Or have your sister, brother there, somebody you feel comfortable with. And when you share your bit, share always in mind that you're talking to that person, because then you come across friendly, genuine, and like you're actually talking to a friend, which builds that bond with your viewers. Don't get discouraged, whatever it is that in the beginning you can't get it immediately right, and especially when seeing yourself and hearing your own voice, it's a shock. I was shell shocked. I was like, is that me? And it is a period of getting used to yourself and finding also the rhythm to speak in. I am a babble mouth, as you can hear, and for me it was very much, and I'm doing it again, but talking in a slower pace. Then there is this other issue with auto cue, which you can use your device for. So you can have your text pre-written. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
I totally agree. I think that to speak out of where you are and to recognize that you know what you're talking about is brilliant, and definitely have somebody around, and initially, if necessary, even if you have to position them so that they are sat right close to the camera and you're actually looking at them, just to start getting yourself used to it is a brilliant way to start. Forgive me for diving in, but my personal recommendation would be to say get started and get fluent with it before you start even worrying about an auto cue situation, because actually what so often happens when people try auto cue is that we use a word that means the same as the word, but it isn't the word on the screen, so we go, oh, I've made a mistake, when actually it is flowing anyway. So for people, yeah, I would say, look, you know your stuff. Communicate what you know to start with, and make that work for you. And if in the end you're finding you're needing to deliver lots and lots of material and very lengthy things, then maybe look at auto cue. But even then, most people with 2 or 3 bullet points that they've got right next to the camera, they know their stuff. They can deliver a 20-minute talk from half a dozen bullet points without any problem.
Exactly, and that's what I was heading at. I completely agree with you, because I was sort of advised to use auto cue, and when I did, I felt very aware that I was filming, and the results were very poor because of that, because I was standing fixed, having my eyes on that auto cue, and it didn't look like me anymore. So I chucked the auto cue out, and later on, you don't have to get it right. In our heads, we always, especially when it's live now, you want to get it right, obviously. But when you're recording to publish onto your website, you can make mistakes because you can edit those mistakes away. So you don't have to have that need to do it right in one go, and which takes a lot of the pressure away as well.
Unless, of course, you're no good at editing, in which case you need to absolutely rehearse it to the nth degree and then get it all out perfectly in one shot, like I do.
Yeah, but you're natural.
And there is a third way before we carry on talking about cameras and equipment and so on. You can actually screencast. You don't actually need a camera at all. You just need some recording equipment, special recording equipment called screencasting. And there's Screencast-O-Matic, Snagit, and there are umpteen other tools that will allow you to record what's on your screen. And again, you need a good microphone so that you can talk and you can say, this is such and such, and today I'm going to demonstrate to you how to do this. And everything is on your screen, and the recording equipment is capturing what's on your screen. Now, that's not very expensive at all. I think Screencast-O-Matic is free for 5 minutes long, and Snagit is around 39 or 43. I can't recall correctly the precise amount of money, £43 for a year-long license with updates. So if you don't want to get on camera but you can record screens and presentations, then you can do that option as well. But you will still need the good audio, and you will still need the script, and you will still need to probably practice.
Totally agree. And all of that said, my personal recommendation would still be that you top or tail it, so that actually we come back to this. There's the lovely old saying, people buy from people. And therefore, even if you are going to screen it, my personal recommendation, even if you kind of do it once, is that you create a piece that you can put onto the front of the video that just means, welcome to this month's Screenmatic, whatever it is. I'm Jay Blake, and I look forward to sharing my thoughts for this month, and then go in so that they're still able to meet you as a person, because actually I think for the little bit of hassle that creates you, it provides much more stickability, and people actually want to come back and meet you and find out more about who you are, because at the end of the day, that's why we're friends, and that's why we're connected, because actually there is that connectivity as people. And I think the other thing, of course, that we all naturally do is if we don't see somebody, we go, why? So if all you ever do is screencast, eventually somebody starts going, okay, well, you're using video, why don't we ever see you? And I'm as bad as any of us here in terms of not wanting to be seen in front of the camera, and you can all see why. But yes, so I'm as bad as anybody for not being in front of the camera, but it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's that human connection that will help you creating a bond with people which you otherwise would not get. It's think about it. When you connect with people, it's because you have that connection, and if you only would see a screen or only pieces of text, it's very hard to visualize. Like, I talk a lot with my hands. That is something that's me, and by showing myself, people get to see the person, however crazy I might be, but get to see the person behind the business, and they see that I'm just a normal person. I'm a mum, I'm a wife, and you become friends with people you know, and otherwise you stay just that mystery person behind your business for people to actually connect with you.
You do need the connectors, like Jay says, the bit at the video introduction at the end that you can just edit in and add to it, and you can do that using something like Windows Movie Maker, which I believe comes standard with a lot of PCs. I know it's with mine, but I've got Windows 8, so it probably doesn't work. And if you've got a Mac, you'll probably have various editing tools already there. So you don't have to run out and go and get a super duper editing package while you're just learning things. As you become more proficient, then yes, you would want to go out and get the Sony Vegas video editing suite and iMovie and all of those things. But while you're starting out, you don't need to do that at all. You can just use what's about. Because I'll be quite honest with you, there are a lot of people that go out and invest in a lot of money in equipment and it doesn't get used. And it can be for the simple reason that it's too much of the technical learning curve. It could be that they really just can't get used to being on camera, as Vanita says, and getting used to seeing yourself. It could be that they can't master all of the things that come with it, because not only is it just creating the videos, it's then marketing them. So it's not just you can shoot your video, pop it on YouTube and get millions of views. It doesn't work like that. So, you know, don't think for one moment you've got to run out and spend thousands and thousands on everything, because the truth is you don't have to. There's lots of free stuff already on your computer that you can use to do editing and bits and pieces. Okay, my next question will be, if you had to have one piece of equipment aside from your camera and your mic, what would it be?
Well, that's very simple. That would be a tripod. The number of people that will try. People have been kind enough to comment on a photograph I took at the weekend. I took my girls out for a walk at the weekend, and it's a beautiful photograph. It's a lovely photograph of a waterfall, and the two girls are on the side of the waterfall. But actually, when I look at the photograph on my computer, I can see the girls are totally blurred, and that's purely because I just am not still enough. And so my personal recommendation, if you're going to get one additional piece of equipment other than a camera and a microphone, definitely a tripod, because that then just enables you to position. Even if you're using an iPhone, you can get a grip for your iPhone so that it is exactly where you need it to be. And so that would be my recommendation.
Brilliant, thank you, Jay. Vanita?
Yeah, I agree with Jay, and you have no idea how shaky things will look without a tripod. The same is for when you work with bigger equipment for your microphone. But I would say personally is my computer, simply because I'm a very much a hands-on person with most of the things I do. And when you're starting something like videoing, like you say, you can invest a lot, but you can also invest time in trying to figure things out. And for me, it's something that fits with my personality, and it's definitely not something that everybody should do. But for me, looking up information, trying it, making the mistakes, you know, that has helped me tremendously. And it is a steep learning curve, don't get me wrong, but you will, when you have, I'm a control freak, so when I have control, I feel more confident. And when I know that I can edit things and manipulate the videos my way, then I feel more certain that the outcome will look better. So I advise people to get information online. There is so much information online. And if you want to filter out your information, the group we're in, the challenge group, which is phenomenal, ask around. Ask people, what can I do to edit a video? What can I do to get a good backdrop when you want to have something else than just your office or, you know, anywhere else? Ask around and take the information in and try. Don't be afraid to try and make mistakes.
Mm. Okay, brilliant, thank you. We've spoken about lots of pieces of equipment, from the very basics to the must-haves to the not essential but are very nice. What's the one piece of equipment that you've got that you really love that isn't essential but you just use it all of the time?
For me, oh, sorry. You go ahead.
For me, that would have to be an editor. So for some people, actually, the amount of time that they've got and the frequency with which they're wanting to create material just means that actually being able to get somebody else to look after the everything from once it's captured into the camera right to the end is invaluable in terms of making sure that it fits within. So it's got my details at the beginning of it. It's got how they can make contact with me at the end of the video, and that it's just that there is that commonality throughout. So if people have got to that point where they're wanting to create video on a regular basis, and actually to be doing that, then for me it's that ability to not worry about anything other than capturing it. So as a at the luxury end, that would be where I'm at. But clearly I'm not. I don't have that same need for control that Vanita clearly does, and it really works for her. And that.
And you, Vanita, what's your luxury item?
Who, like I say, I'm honest. I invested a lot. What I would say, I think, and that sounds very, very funny, what I just referred to, is my green screen in the back. And it's not very expensive to set up. Like you say, eBay, Amazon, you can find good quality stuff there. But it gives me the freedom to basically have any backdrop I want to have. And because I'm running 2 businesses, really, I can brand myself on one side for the Real Women in Business, on the other side for my coaching. And that is a lot of freedom to have, especially when I'm confined, because don't think I have this massive studio. It's just a little end bit of my garage, can you imagine? And it can give that spacious feel to the video. And for me, that would be my most favorite bit.
And remember, everyone, you can actually add backdrops on your Google Hangout. I'm going to look and see if I can do that. I'll probably now break the Hangout, so if we suddenly all disappear, you'll know what it's all about. I've decided to put in something. Where am I? No, I can't find anything. Google's banning me. It's giving me the little don't press this button. Damn you, Google. I wanted to have Venice behind me. Oh, what is it with this thing? Me and Ola, we have problems each week with our Hangouts, and I'd like to say we're veterans at this now, but clearly we're not. Oh, there we are. I found them. Google Effects. And that's the other thing, you know, if you've got a webcam, you don't actually have to record something. You can just jump on a Google Hangout that's free, and you can just talk to yourself and record it. And the good thing about doing those kind of recordings is they rank quite highly in the search engines. So they're organically gonna be, there we go. I'm now on the beach, vaguely, sort of, whatever. Can you see it? Darn.
Yeah.
Yep. So if you play around with Google, you can actually do some pretty nifty little things without trying too hard. But perhaps a bit better than what I am. Right. So yeah, jump on a Google Hangout and start talking to yourself, and you know, just start getting used to it. Initially, when you set up your YouTube channel, and your Google Hangouts will automatically be recorded to that YouTube channel, you're not going to have a lot of subscribers. It's probably going to be your mum and a couple of close friends that are your initial subscribers. And as time goes by, then you will just, you know, discover how you can use the Hangouts, how you can present, how you can talk and communicate in an effective way. And you can always delete off the ones that don't work. So you don't have to worry too much about getting the #1 spot for being, you know, a pickle farmer in Arabia. If you see the video and it's rubbish, you can actually go and delete it. It's not a big deal to delete it. When you've got a few thousand subscribers, then it does become a big deal, because they do get notifications that there's a new video. So practice and use the tools that Google give you while you've got no subscribers.
Good plan.
Good plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to do all my practicing when I had something like 1,200 subscribers, and I don't know where they came from, and I landed up losing 200 of them. But I thought to myself, you know what, if they can't be understanding as to why I'm practicing and so on, then do you know what? I'm better off without those 200 people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
all human and we're all learning, and that's one of the lovely things about the 30-day blogging challenge that you run, Sarah, is it's giving us all the opportunity to learn about how to be communicating regularly and blogging regularly, and it's a group that I personally am very grateful for. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
just great to see people demonstrating their expertise and sharing freely in the group and commenting and helping each other, and that's really nice, because when that happens, everybody gets more visibility, and that's what we're ultimately after. Okay, my final question, because I've just seen it's clicked over to 10 o'clock. What's the biggest thing you've done wrong on video? Just so everybody can see that you're human and that you've made mistakes too. What's your biggest error? And I know for you, Jay, this will be some time ago when you were learning. And for me and Vanita, it was probably last week on our webinar where it just all went wrong.
Well, my biggest mistake ever on a piece of video has to have been at a wedding, and it was very early days. And the bride I had filmed the bride getting out of the car and coming to the back of the church. I had then run to the front of the church, thinking that I had turned off the camera when I started to head up the aisle, and therefore thinking that I needed to start the camera again just as she was about to make her way up the aisle with her father on her arm. And of course, I didn't start it; I stopped it. And I realized that I had started it, what had happened at the beginning of the first hymn. So let's just say that a lot of editing work went into making sure that it all worked, and we survived it. But yeah, I think that has to rank amongst the biggest video errors.
So check your equipment, everybody.
You know when it isn't running.
Vanita?
Yeah, for me, it is aligned with what I said earlier. I'm very much a figuring out person, and I want to do everything myself. And don't get it wrong, but videoing and having good videos on your website or on social media takes a lot of time. So instead of now doing everything myself, I've started outsourcing, because I was running into myself and running into literally lack of time. So that was my poor judgment, really. You think, oh, I can do this, I can edit it, I can just put it on there and it will be fine. And you really need to give yourself the time to focus on your stuff and let other people worry where you can, afford it, worry about the stuff they're good at. Because you can't do it all, and I don't know it all. Absolutely not.
It is an ongoing learning thing. Well, thank you both very much for coming on to the Hangout. If anybody's got any questions, can they tag you in the group?
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay then, thank you very much for your time. And if anybody's got any questions, please tag Jay and Vanita or myself in the group. And I think we've got other video people as well who are really experienced. So don't be afraid to ask questions. We're all happy to share our knowledge and experience. And if we get to the stage where we have lots of questions around a particular topic, again, we can all jump on a Hangout and brainstorm it and ask questions so you benefit from the group's knowledge. Thank you again, Jay and Vanita. And I'll see you in the group.
Will do.